In step 5, we will cover knowing when to ask for help. Now we need to address a scenario which I hope won't be the case with you because I know most of people with CPTSD have the strength of an ocean. Healing from CPTSD is absolutely possible through self guided work, and for many, it begins just like you are doing now by learning, practicing, and rebuilding from the inside out. You do not need to start with therapy, and you are not behind for not having it. But it's equally important to recognize when professional help becomes necessary, not optional. This step is about learning to listen to the limits of self help and understanding when to seek external support. When is professional support necessary? You may want to consider seeing a licensed trauma informed therapist, for example, EMDR, IFS, or somatic experiencing, when any of the following apply. 1. Daily functioning is severely impaired. If symptoms like dissociation from reality, panic attacks, flashbacks, or suicidal ideations are interfering with your ability to work, maintain relationships, or take care of yourself, therapy is strongly recommended. And I know that all of this is typically normal for somebody suffering from a trauma disorder and not a cause for panic. Therapy is strongly necessary only when these symptoms become so overwhelming that you can't seem to properly be running that marathon I previously talked about, or in other words, when you are not functioning sufficiently. 2. You feel stuck or overwhelmed in healing. If you've been doing self work for months and still feel like you are regressing or are emotionally frozen, it may be time to work through these blocks with professional guidance. But if you are only now beginning to seriously work on your mental health, I want you to forget this point and focus on your healing with trust and belief because you are over 90% likely to manage this on your own. 3. You experience intrusive thoughts or uncontrollable emotions. When distressing memories or emotional reactions are so strong that they continuously and persistently derail your days, a trained therapist can help contain and process those experiences safely. 4. You have a history of complex or layered trauma. Sometimes childhood neglect, long term abuse, or overlapping traumas can require deeper, personalized approaches that self help cannot fully address. But this is something you will have to judge with time. However, I guarantee that you are very likely to address most of that yourself by following this compass I am giving you. 5. You are at risk of harming yourself or others. In any situation involving self harm urges, suicidal ideation, or aggression, if you feel like the situation is getting out of control, please prioritize safety. Professional help might be essential in this case. These recommendations are aligned with guidelines from the World Health Organization and trauma treatment experts like Dr. Judith Herman and Dr. Basil van der Kolk, who emphasize that the severity and impact on daily life, not just the trauma itself, should determine when to seek therapy. What if I can't afford therapy? Therapy is not the only path, and it's certainly not the only effective one. If finances are a concern, know that there are other sources of support, the most effective of which is you yourself. Many people recover through peer connection, educational tools, and consistent self regulation practices. And know that even if you attend regular expensive therapy, you can still benefit from expanding your community by reaching out to like minded people. Here are specific free or low cost alternatives that have helped others. Sliding scale therapy. Using dictionaries like Open Path Collective to find therapists offering sessions between $30 to $60. Community health centers or clinics. Many offer mental health services at low or no cost. Try searching your city's name plus community mental health clinic. Crisis support services. In case you are in immediate emotional distress, don't forget that you can always contact Crisis Text Line by texting HOME to 741 for USA, UK, and Canada for 24/7 help, or call 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline for USA. Free confidential support 24/7. These are UK and North America examples, but most countries have such lines and you can search their contacts on Google. Online peer groups and forums. CPTSD on Reddit, a supportive community for people living with CPTSD. TheMighty.com, real stories and forums from people managing mental health conditions. HealingandCPTSD.com, a trauma survivor run space with forums and private groups. And Facebook groups such as Complex PTSD Support Group or CPTSD Community often have free, safe peer conversations. Free trauma education resources. YouTube channels like Dr. Ariel Schwartz, MedCycle, Dr. Ramani, Doc Snipes, The Crappy Childhood Fairy, Iris McAlpine, etc. offer expert advice, exercises, and insights at no cost. Free PDFs and audiobooks of foundational texts can be found through local library apps, for example, Libby or Hoopla. Workbooks and journaling prompts. Try free trauma focused journaling programs from platforms like Therapist Aid or apps like Insight Timer, which offer free guided meditations and body scans designed for trauma regulation. The important thing to remember is reaching out is a sign of strength, not failure. You are not giving up on healing, you are building more support around it. If you have related to any of the signs above, please consider at least having an initial conversation with a trauma informed professional. You don't need to commit to weekly sessions forever. Sometimes just a few well placed sessions can make a lasting difference if you find the right therapist. And as I've told you so far, with commitment, you can be your own therapist too. Now I'm going to recommend you some books on CPTSD and healing. Reading can be a powerful tool in your healing journey. Knowledge and information is a food for a strong mind, and especially knowledge about yourself in a scientific perspective. I have listed for you here some evidence-based books that provide valuable insights and practical strategies on trauma and more specifically CPTSD. 1. The Body Keeps the Score by Basil van der Kolk. A comprehensive exploration of how trauma affects the body and mind, and methods for healing. 2. Complex PTSD From Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. Offers a roadmap for recovery from childhood trauma, including practical exercises and strategies. 3. Waking the Tiger by Peter A. Levine. Introduces somatic experiencing, a body oriented approach to healing trauma. 4. A Practical Guide to Complex PTSD by Dr. Ariel Schwartz provides compassionate strategies to begin healing from childhood trauma. 5. The Courage to Heal by Ellen Bass and Laura Davis, a guide for women survivors of sexual abuse offering support and healing strategies. 6. What My Bones Know by Stephanie Fu, a memoir detailing the author's journey through complex trauma and healing. 7. The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown encourages embracing vulnerability and imperfection as pathways to healing. 8. Healing the Fragmented Selves of Trauma Survivors by Janina Fisher offers techniques for integrating dissociated parts of the self in trauma recovery. 9. It Didn't Start With You by Mark Wallen explores how inherited family trauma affects individuals and how to heal from it. 10. Feeling Great by David Burns focuses on cognitive behavioral techniques to overcome depression and anxiety, finding your stable mood again. Many of these books are available at local libraries or can be found in digital formats at reduced cost. Consider checking your local library's online catalog or digital lending services for access. Also, this is for those who want a physical book. You can use online shops for second-hand books like Abe Books or Awesome Books, which come in incredible conditions.